We talk a lot about AI systems that work on their own, doing things automatically. But what if the goal wasn't just automation? What if we could build AI that actually teams up with human experts, not to replace them, but to make them even better? Well, today, we're going to dive into a platform called HumAIne, which is designed to build exactly that future.
So here's the big question, right? Why is this so difficult? Creating true human-AI collaboration is incredibly tough. You have all these amazing, specialized AI tools, but getting them to talk to each other and then trying to get them to work seamlessly with a human expert who's providing oversight, it's a complex, messy, and really expensive puzzle to solve.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll really unpack this core problem of getting humans and AI on the same team. Then, we'll introduce HumAIne and explain why it's like an operating system for AI. After that, we're going to peek under the hood at its architecture, walk through what it's like to build a simple workflow, and finally, see what this all looks like in the real world.
Okay, let's kick things off by really digging into the problem that HumAIne was built to solve in the first place.
Right now, if you look at the world of AI development, it kind of feels like a bunch of separate silos. You might have one awesome tool for predictive modeling over here, and another for symbolic reasoning over there, and a third for managing data. They all work great by themselves, but making them communicate with each other, that's a huge barrier. And it's what stops us from building these really smart systems where AI and human intelligence can truly work together. So, how do you break down those walls? Well, that's exactly where HumAIne comes into the picture. The best way to think about it is as a unified operating system, but for AI.
And this quote really nails the core idea. Think about the OS on your computer. You don't need to know how the processor talks to the memory just to open a web browser, right? The OS handles all that complexity for you. HumAIne does the exact same thing, but for AI. It manages all the messy backend stuff so developers can focus on what actually matters, building powerful applications where humans and AI can finally collaborate. Okay, so what does this operating system for AI actually look like under the hood? Let's pull back the curtain and check out its core architecture, piece by piece.
This diagram right here is basically our roadmap. At a high level, you can see how it creates this single, unified environment where developers, users, and all sorts of AI tools can connect. Now, don't worry about memorizing every little box and arrow just yet. We're about to zoom in on the most important parts. First up is the common front end. This is mission control. It's the user's main entry point into the whole platform. Its job is to take all those different, sometimes clunky AI tools and give them one consistent, unified interface. It's that single pane of glass that makes everything feel like it's part of one cohesive system, which, is absolutely crucial for a good user experience. At its heart, the platform gives you two ways to build things. For the hardcore data scientists doing really heavy-duty model training, there's a powerful engine called Kubeflow. But for almost everyone else, there's Node-RED. And this is the real game changer. It's a visual, low-code environment. That means you can literally drag and drop different AI services to connect them, which makes building and testing new ideas incredibly fast. Of course, for any system to work, it needs two things: memory and a way to communicate. In HumAIne, MiniAO acts as the platform's memory, providing a central place to store all the datasets, AI models, and workflows. And then there's RabbitMQ, which is like the platform's central nervous system. It's a messaging system that lets all the different parts talk to each other by sending and receiving signals, allowing them to react to new data in real time. So who actually uses all this? Well, the platform is designed for a few key types of people. You've got your AI developers, who get the keys to the kingdom, full access to build and manage workflows with Kubeflow and Node-RED. Then you have domain experts. These are the specialists, the system operators, who interact with specific interfaces to validate the AI's work and provide that crucial human feedback. And finally, you have the pilot users. These are the people who use the final apps built on top of HumAIne.
All right, now that we have a feel for the architecture, let's switch gears. Let's look at this from a developer's point of view. How easy is it to actually start building something?
The whole process is designed to be super straightforward. A developer just logs in, hits Create New, chooses to make a flow, and bam, they're immediately ready to start building visually. The whole point is to get you from a cool idea to a working prototype as fast as humanly possible.
And you can see that simplicity right here. It is literally 2 clicks. Create New, then Flow. Name it, and you're off to the races. There's no complicated setup or configuration slowing you down. The platform just gets out of your way so you can start creating immediately.
And this is where you land, the workflow editor. Think of this as your digital canvas. On the left, you've got this palette of HumAIne nodes. These are just pre-built, reusable components that hide all the messy code. A developer can just drag, drop, and wire these nodes together to build really powerful applications, often without writing a single line of code from scratch. It's all about speed and reusability.
So, what can you actually build with all this? What does a real-world human-AI team-up look like on this platform? Let's explore a few really powerful patterns.
This one is a classic, and it's an incredibly powerful example of what we're talking about. Imagine an AI model that's constantly analyzing data. Whenever it comes across something it isn't sure about, when its confidence level drops, this pattern automatically kicks off a workflow. It packages up the problem and sends a notification directly to a human expert, basically saying, hey, can you take a look at this? The AI knows when to ask for help.
And here's what that exact ask for help logic looks like, built visually in Node-RED. Each one of those boxes is a step in the process. You can literally trace the flow from the AI detecting a problem, to the step that formats a notification, all the way to the final node that sends it to a person. This is how you turn an abstract concept into a real working application.
And that ask for help pattern? That is just scratching the surface. The whole platform is built to handle some really cutting-edge AI ideas. Things like neurosymbolic learning, which mixes deep learning with logical rules to make AI more robust. Or swarm learning, which is a wild idea that lets different AIs learn from each other without ever sharing sensitive, private data. And maybe most important of all, explainable AI, which helps make sure we can always understand why an AI is making the decisions that it does.
And look, this isn't just theory or stuff in a lab. These powerful capabilities are being put to the test right now. They're being validated in some really demanding industrial sectors to build the next generation of advanced decision-making applications. This is proving its value out in the real world. So, I'll just leave you with this thought to chew on. What if we could move beyond just building AI that automates simple tasks? What if every single AI system we built had the intelligence to know its own limits and knew exactly when and how to ask a human expert for help? That is the future that HumAIne is trying to build.